Hey friends, guys, kids, how's it going? Back again. I guess this is part two. I think we left off. Where did we leave off? High school, I believe. I think so. Um, so, yeah, high school. So I started playing in third grade when I was 9, and did that. Was in band all throughout the rest of elementary school. I believe I may have stopped during 6th grade. I don't know. I did stop at some point, but I don't remember exactly when. Maybe in doing junior high. I don't know. But went to junior high. Band teacher named Miss Smith. Very nice person. I don't remember learning a lot. As you do. But it was, obviously a good experience. Band is always fun. Met my first girlfriend in band. That was fun. Elena. She was a fellow drummer. We went out junior high. She followed me. Not followed me. She also went to North, but we kind of lost touch with each other freshman year, which was fine. So see, something good does come out of being a band nerd. Anyway. So lived in South Minneapolis, grew up there all my life. So presumably I would go to South, like my brother. But I heard about, when I was still at Stanford, my 8th grade year, I heard about a visual and performing arts magnet program at North High. And I'm like, well, that sounds pretty good. And I applied and I got it. And, had to go to North and audition, which I found kind of weird. And because I auditioned for their old band teacher, whose name I do not recall, but I remember he played stand-up bass. And then between auditioning, which was probably end of my 8th grade year, between then and September, when I started at North, he had been let go or quit or whatever the case may be, and they brought in a new band teacher who was, we referred to him as Mr. O. Mr. Ochiata, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Kind of an odd gentleman. Ex-Marine, meaning very disciplined, but also kind of laid back. He was kind of weird. But like days after band concerts, when nobody felt like doing anything, because prepare for the concert, and then we played the concert, and then we don't want to. He would show us Marine recruiting videos and whatnot, which I found awful strange. And he was only there for 1 year, and he left, and I believe he may have swiped some equipment from the school. I think just a ride cymbal, but it was a very nice ride cymbal. So he was always kind of questionable. But he did teach me, the one thing he did teach me, because he was in the Marine band. He was a drummer in the Marine band. And he taught me about the snapping of the wrists, which I see a lot of drummers who are all arm. They're just all arm like that. But the snapping of the wrist, less muscle moved. You don't move your arms, you just move your wrists. You can get more control. You can get, all kinds of stuff. And you can get a lot more power if you just snap your wrists like that. So he taught me that. Valuable lesson. Use it to this day. So, anybody watching arms? No. Wrists? Yes. It feels kind of weird, but trust me, you will get a lot more power doing that than doing that. Just trust me on this one. So then my freshman year, in algebra class, I met my peer, as I mentioned in the last video, Mr. Gabe Hoffman, who if I didn't say it, then I'm saying it now, I would not be the drummer I am today without hanging out with Gabe for those 4 years, honestly. Just because the ability to play all the time and jam all the time and just do different things and, you know, challenging each other, playing weird. Yeah. Anyway, just putting that out there. So I met Gabe within my first couple weeks there, because I went to North. I didn't know anybody over North. So I, walked in blind and saw this kid in my algebra class, probably a couple weeks into school, who I believe had a Van Halen logo drawn on a notebook or a pencil case or something. And I was like, okay, that kid, he kind of knows what's up. And I don't know if I talked to him first or he talked to me first, but somehow we got together, we clicked, and we were practically inseparable for the next 4 years. And everything that goes along with that. Sophomore year, new teacher, surprise, surprise, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ron Larson, who I liked. Ron was cool, he was chill. He pretty much left us to our own devices. There wasn't a lot of supervision. A lot of my fellow students kind of walked all over him, which I kind of feel bad about, but it was what it was. I liked Ron. I thought he was cool. Again, there wasn't a whole lot of teaching, actual teaching going on, but it was what it was, So made it through sophomore year, junior year. And a junior year, Ron leaves. I don't remember why. I think there was some sort of something going on. I don't remember what. So then we're up to senior year. We get a new teacher. So 4 years, 3 band teachers. Quality of North High Band. We get a teacher named Mr. Jim Heim, who I liked. He was cool. He was kind of the middle ground between Mr. O and Ron. I mean, he was cool enough. He let us decorate the band room with posters that we brought in, which is cool. But he also had a little bit of the strictness of Mr. O, and if I'm remembering correctly, I might be completely off. But anybody else who was there, please tell me. Anyway, so got through that, and then after that, after high school, graduated, and then followed Gabe, and actually did follow Gabe to what was at the time Music Tech, and they had just changed their name. And the reason I went there, backing up, is because Gabe was taking guitar lessons there when it was still called Guitar Center, and they had changed the name to Music Tech, became a full music school. I got in there, 1 year program, 1 year performance program, I guess. And so went there, followed him there, and then he, during the course of everything, winds up getting into Berklee College of Music out in East Coast Boston, I think. So he leaves the last 2 weeks of school, misses graduation, goes out to Berklee. He's out in Berklee for 6-7 years. Comes back, and I don't believe touched a guitar for a long time. Anyway, because he was burnt out, as you know. As you do. So, but went to Music Tech, and again, being a natural player that I am, and not having, I had the ability, I knew how to read music, kind of, knew how to read drum tab, kind of, but I could just, play anything. I had a good feel. I could literally, example, one of my classes, was the styles class. taught by a man named David Stanek, still one of my favorite teachers at Music Tech. We were supposed to compose and write a brush solo. I hadn't done it, whatever. But I came in and like improvised a brush solo on the spot, which is probably better than anything I could have written. And he let me go with that, but he was like, you're gonna have to learn to, do the stuff. And I was like, okay, okay, Dave, whatever. And yeah, I never did. I mean, if you sat a drum tab book in front of me, I could probably figure it out, but it would take way longer than it probably should. And that's not a lesson saying, if you want to go that route and learn music and do all that, go right ahead. Go, to your heart's content. It just was something that I could never get in my head. I could never get it in there. And maybe that's the unfortunate part of being a natural player, is that that whole other area is just lost to you. And technically, I never graduated music tech. I never got my diploma because I think I got an incomplete in like a songwriting class or something, I believe. So that was unfortunate. But the connections I made at Music Tech and the people I met and the people I got to play with and the venues I got to play at, makes up, I think, for my actual lack of studying and lack of practice, which I should have done more. I would readily admit I should have done more. But, I was 18, 19 years old. I didn't care. I only went to Music Tech because I didn't want to go to real college, which again, I probably should have. But it is what it is. But the interesting, getting back to high school for a second, I mentioned Gabe as being one of my peers and being the only serious musician of our age that I met. He actually had a band. The name escapes me. So if anybody watching knows the name of this band, because, I know it in the back of my head, I just can't recall it. It was Gabe on guitar, Saul Blas on bass, who also was a cellist, cool, chill guy, awesome musician. Jonica Bolduc on drums, also a very cool guy. He's now an airline pilot. Francis Wong on vocals, and I think guitar. Nick Rubenstein, who was known as Zepp, on keyboards. And then I believe it was Fran's little brother, Gene, and Lisa Smith on backup vocals. So if anybody knows the name of that band, that was around probably 88, 89, 90, in there somewhere, please let me know, because it's bugging me that I can't remember the name of the band. But I do remember one practice we had at Lisa's house, and they had me drumming and Jonica drumming, and that was kind of insane. That was a little crazy. The other thing I remember about that band, or a version of that band, so as I said, during sophomore and junior year, we got a new drum kit at South for the school, or at North for the school. Brand new Pearl Export 7-piece kit, I believe. And me and Gabe would convince Ron that we should borrow that on the weekends. And, which I don't know why he let us. I honestly don't know why he let us. But he did. So we would borrow that on the weekends and play and bring it back, because Gabe had a car, thankfully. But, so we'd do that, and I remember, unrelated, I don't know why, just because we were dicks and borrowed the gear, school's gear, which we probably shouldn't have. But I recall at one point we had some sort of organ in our midst. Don't remember how we got it, don't remember where we got it, but I remember, so this it was Zepp and Saul may have still been involved, I don't know, and Fran, and whoever else was left in the group were playing. There used to be this event called, I believe it was called Cedar Fest, and they would have, it was like an all-day outdoor thing. They had a bunch of stages, a bunch of bands, and your usual like Minneapolis like street fair thing. I think they stopped doing it because it got too big, and I believe it was called Cedar Fest. It was on the West Bank. I think, pretty sure. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But they played there one year. And the thing I remember about that is that they did the Beatles' Dear Prudence in the style of Soundgarden. And that blew my little, like 17-year-old mind. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So, and the only other thing I will say, for this one at least, is that at Music Tech, again, played with some cool guys. I'll probably upload, because I have in the jazz ensembles that we did and rock ensembles that we did, I have 4 sets worth of music, 2 of each, 2 of the rock ensembles, which were at Mirage, if anybody remembers the Mirage, and the jazz ensembles had their concerts at this little club. It used to be on the West Bank called Nostalgia. It was connected to, if you know where Theater in the Round is, it was literally connected to it. It was a little hallway of a club. It was literally no more than about 10 feet wide. 2 stories, stage at the back, upstairs by the window. But cool little place. They'd have jazz every Monday or Wednesday. And sometimes, like Debbie Duncan would show up. John DeSalva was there. Jay Epstein, drummer, was there. Just a cool little place. But that's where the jazz performances would be. And I have 2 of those on video cassette, digitized, and 2 of the rock ones. First of the rock one being horrible. I will admit that. It's horrible. I was in a group, and we had the singer who, I don't even know if he was a student or not. I honestly don't remember. Not good. Not a good singer. Plus, he ingested some sort of substance before the performance, and it was not good. But Enter Sandman had just come out. Black Album had just come out from Metallica. They wanted to do Enter Sandman. I was like, no, because I was already sick of Enter Sandman by that point. Said, no, if we're going to do a Metallica song, let's do a real Metallica song like Master of Puppets. Yeah, I suggested we do Master of fucking Puppets. But we did. We built an entire Metallica set. Not good. So maybe I'll share some of that stuff. Second one I got is better. We have a better singer who, again, I don't think was a student. I think he was a friend of the guitar players. But that one is a little bit more diverse. I mean, we do, Walk This Way. We do Radar Love. We do Peace Cells. We do, I don't remember what else we do, but I have all that, and I'll probably share that at some point. But the bass player in the jazz ensemble, jazz trio, which was me, Gabe, and the bass player, Michael Carvalho. Again, awesome guy, most chill guy you ever want to meet, awesome bass player, just phenomenal. Spent about 7, 8, 9 years as the bass player for Lamont Cranston, if you know who they are. So, yeah. And now kind of plays, I'm not sure, he's kind of a jobber, I think, at this point. He doesn't play with anybody, steadily, I don't think. I know he's like toured the world, and he's always, just out there and about and whatever. Anyway, meeting him, and moving in with him and this other guy named Darren French after I graduated. A couple years after I graduated, actually. Well, maybe like a year after I graduated. Anyway. And people that he knew informed the next probably 3, 4, 5 bands I was in. And we'll talk about that next time because we're at 20 minutes and that's way too long. If you suffer through my ramblings, I appreciate it, and we will talk to you